We want to talk about what exactly is happening in Parliament with 80 MPs in the House from the majority side saying that they want Ken Ofori to be sacked by the President. Good afternoon to you, sir. Now, this isn't the first time we are hearing it happens to be almost like the biggest. 80 member of Parliament from the side of the majority belonging to the MPP. What do you make of it?
Let us say this is unprecedented in this republic, as well as I recall in all the previous 3 republics of the country, that ruling parties, members of parliament, 80 of them in this case, to stand up and tell their president, their leader of the party, that please, we don't want this particular minister. This is unprecedented. And it signals, I think, within the party. If in fact it were a parliamentary system as the British have, I'm sure we'll be talking about vote of no confidence in the government. But of course we are not in the parliamentary system as such, so I can understand. But you see, this issue reflects the frustration of all Ghanaians, because the call on Mr. Ken Ofori is not new. It's been going on for the past several weeks, especially since the city started nosediving. And as you know, from somewhere $7, now we're talking about almost 15 to $1. And that has really shaken the very foundation of the economies of individuals and corporate entities. So I'm not surprised that people are calling. And now, because the president has been insisting over the past weeks, that he has full confidence in him as well as all the other ministers, and for his own parliamentarians to stand up to say, Mr. President, please drop this person, it's very significant, and I hope the president pays heed to that.
Now, you mentioned the city standing about 15 Ghana cedi. As of this morning, we are seeing a bit of appreciating. Now it's up at 13.9 Ghana cedi. Is that not at least a signal that the economy is bouncing back in a way?
Precisely. You see, all these fluctuations in the cedi or the currency, to a large extent, is based on expectations and speculations by investors who have money. You see, when people feel like there's no confidence in the system, they react. And their reaction generally will reflect in how give the city in exchange for dollars and all to keep. You know, so now that this has happened, I'm not surprised that the speculation may have gone down. Confidence of people in the economy seems to be going up. The same thing occurred in Britain, by the way. It's not a unique phenomenon. Whenever there is a widespread lack of confidence in the economy, and the government takes a certain measure, especially when someone perceived to be popularly unacceptable to the public is asked to step aside, immediately you see confidence building. So I'm not surprised that the city may have been stabilizing since this particular event by the majority caucus in Parliament.
And I know you've gone to Parliament. Now, the minority is looking at impeaching or filing a motion to impeach the finance minister. Should he wait to be impeached by Parliament or allow himself to exit upon the request by the majority?
Actually, what I think, frankly, is that Mr. Ofori should make it easier for the president by simply submitting his resignation letter. He shouldn't wait for the president to go through the pain of sacking someone who is so close and dear to him. So I think the minister should take the initiative. If he does that, of course, then he prevents all these processes that we don't want, because going through impeachment is not necessary. We've never had it, so far as I can recall, we've never had it in our political system. So this shouldn't be the first time for it to happen. So I think all the signals, because look, for your own political party members, 80 of them at this point, to say that, Mr. President, we want this man, is a sure indication that something must give. And what must give is for the finance minister to voluntarily submit a resignation to the president. Because, as I say, being sacked is not what he needs. Okay? And you recall in the case of Britain, Kwesi Kwarteng was attending meeting with the World Bank in Washington. He was called to stop everything and calm down. As soon as he arrived and met the prime minister, he said, hey, you are gone. You see. So it's not news. And I think the minister himself, sensing this possible showdown with the parliament, and by implication with the public, I think he's better off submitting his resignation to the president.
The president, for some days now, have also received a number of backlash, so some individuals, for saying that Ken Ofori remains where he is due to loyalty and all that. Comments like this, what does it say about the government?
Well, as I said, this is not the first time. Over the past several weeks, and somehow I even added my voice some time ago. Loyalty is important to presidents.
At this point in time, do we talk about loyalty?
Precisely. That's the point I was going to make. That first of all, we have to recognize that presidents appoint people that they trust, that they will do the job for them. So there's no. So in a way, I sympathize with the president, and it's all right to have someone who's loyal to you. But in the face of such a public outcry, to the extent of your own parliamentarians holding a press conference, it's never happened before. So here is a situation where the president should not wait. I think he should call Honorable Ofori, have a consultation, and politely ask him to just submit a resignation. Because you see, if it doesn't happen, I don't know the next steps that his own party may take. And I'm talking about those who are in parliament. They are threatening that if no change is made as they demand, they are not even going to support the mid-year budget that's expected to be given by the finance minister. And also importantly, they made a point that all the while they have been kind of protecting the finance minister from certain things. If you remember, that they have been approving his budget, not necessarily because they believe in it, and calls by the minority to dispose of him, all of that they resisted. But now they are saying, this is the time. And with that, I think I will expect my good friend Ken to do the right thing and simply save the president from the pain.
How will this affect the party itself, the party itself? How will it affect it?
I think two ways. It can strengthen it, because that can indicate a new reality politics within our democracy, that if in fact there is an overwhelming public sentiment on an issue, your own party members can stand up and say, Mr. President, please, let's do it differently. That for me is a very interesting and very important indication of perhaps the new reality that we may have to have in Parliament. In other words, we are not to always rubber stamp anything that comes from the executive. Okay, in this case, as you know, we have a few system of the executive and the legislature, because the president is obliged by the constitution to appoint majority of ministers from there. But now we have the legislature, and we say we don't want this. And for me, for those who are democratic loving, these are a very important development that we should cherish. So I'm saying that being the first time is a strong indication of perhaps the new direction that parliamentary democracy will present to us. And I think the president's response to this will also reaffirm this new development that we are all witnessing.
Prof, what are some of the names you would wish to see? How do I put it? You wish to see replace him when he's finally out of the office?
Frankly, haven't considered. I know he has able deputy ministers. My good friend John Kuma and my good friend Madam Asare. These are strong people. But you know what? If I were the president, I'll pick a neutral person.
If you say neutral, someone who isn't part of the government or the party?
Somebody, first, who is not within the ministry. Somebody who may or may not be in the party. Because somebody may be a party member, but who is just quiet, but who is competent. You can fish for such people. Because I think such a new person will renew the public confidence that we're talking about. Somebody who is not quote-unquote tainted by quote-unquote the mess that we are going through will be more acceptable to the public. I will really prefer to see somebody from nowhere who is well-known, seasoned. There are many crack economists around. I don't think we need an investor to run the economy.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. And so I've been here with Professor Agyeman-Duah, who is a former senior human rights advisor. If we're back to the studio.